Hey, it's Filet, and you're watching Filet TV, the ultimate YouTube channel. I'm no cinematographer, just a dude with a camera. Okay, this is part 3 of my Puma rescue. I don't like the looks of the hood. I know the hinges are bent. You know, I just can't stand, of course, this big gap in it just doesn't look right. Especially since this car is all fiberglass. Might as well have all the lines looking great. So, you know, when you open up this thing, one of the hinges isn't even bolted down. And the other one looks like it's pretty bent as well. So I pulled them off to kind of compare them. And you can see this one arches to the side. It's got this big old ding in it. You know, big nick. You can see it's bent and it's just not going to line up. As you can see right there. That's the culprit. So I'm looking online. Of course, there's nothing. But, of course, there's a great guy named Douglas in Brazil who will get me anything I need. So these are on order, coming from Brazil, and I should have them in just a couple of days. With the hinges off, you can see the hood fits nice and snug, nice cut line in there. It looks a lot better. So we're going to go forward and get those new hinges. In the meantime, we're going to start getting some other parts of this project going. I'm applying some VHT high heat. It's like up to good 1500 degrees or something. Anyways, this is the exhaust of my Puma that just got delivered yesterday from Brazil. It came in raw steel. The first thing I wanted to do was shoot some paint on it. I mean, most likely it's going to burn off anyways, but at least it'll coat it for a while so our pipes don't rust. Okay, as you can see, we have all the tin painted for the Puma motor. I still have to pull this pulley off and get a breastplate put in there. Got to dig one of those out of the shed. And I also got the motor done for the Doom Buggy. That'll be another episode. So I don't know if you ever really paid attention to the shrouds and the cylinder tin on these Pumas, but as you can see, it's a pretty funky shape here. See, as you can see the curvature it has to match the inside of the body. When if you look at a regular bug one, how it's square on the very edge. That's pretty trippy. And then, of course, on the shroud, it's sawed off at the top. Now it's time to try and clean up this engine compartment. Got a lot of fleeky paint and this firewall looks horrible. Time to clean it up. Okay, here's what we got for the firewall. It was this material. It had this cool pattern in it. And I imagine that's available somewhere. So, unlike the tar firewall they have in the Beatles, this is just probably asbestos, but it's just a matting, you know, foam type of padding. And it's coming off pretty easy. That's funny in this day and age where you have to wear a mask all the time. I would normally be wearing a mask when I'm doing this, and I'm not. Okay, well, you get the picture. Anyways, we are in the engine compartment of the Puma, and I don't know if this grayish color is the original color or is that the primer, but all of this is just flaking away. Now, I guess that's just the fiberglass in there, but all of this is flaking away. So I'm trying to see if I can knock some of it loose and vacuuming it up. And then what I'll do is I'll just lay some of that rubberized undercoating in here, and that really thick, and that should stop the flaking because it takes forever to cure. So I'm going to try and get all this cleaned up. You know, it doesn't look like it's going to be too bad. see we're down to the fiberglass there. So there's a bunch of little rivets right here that I'm going to pull out and get the rest of this cleaned off. Get in the high power hose nozzle and clean all this out. And like I said, with hopes that I'm going to spray some kind of undercoating in here, it's going to stop this mess. There's where the battery goes, and that you can see, even though it's fiberglass, like everything else, it's always had issues. So I'll be running a sealed battery box in there. Definitely have a mess in here before we get the motor in. And here is the mess that we called the back firewall. And as you can see, I got it all out. I just kind of wrapped up all the wires. I'm getting ready to get in here and blast this with my water hose and just see what happens. I'm not expecting much, but like I said, I'm just trying to get the dirt out of here, and then I'm gonna undercoat this whole area. Okay, here is a look at the PUMA motor that is going to be going in the PUMA. There's the motor there, and there's the PUMA here. Okay, so let's take a look at what I did in here. So this is quite a few coats of rubberized undercoating, and then the VHT high heat. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with gray in the engine compartment, just because that everything just gets too dark if it's all black. So as you can see, I mean, this is nice and strong, and there was some of the flaking, and I think I've saturated it enough to get all that flaking to stop. I'm still gonna have to do the same on the rear deck lid because we've got some flaking going on. But I took care of all the issues with the battery box, and again, no flaking. And this stuff dries really good. You know, I use that Rust-Oleum rubberized undercoating, and then I give it a layer of that high gloss VHT, or high temperature I should say, paint. And this is just a fiberglass, so it's going to stick real easy. So tomorrow I'll come in here and I'll get the rest of this all painted gray, and we will get the new motor, including the exhaust from Brazil. We're going to run ICTs on it instead of the K-Drons. I just found the breastplate that I'm going to put in there, so I'm going to get that painted up and installed tomorrow. And we are on our way to having the motor in the PUMA in the first week. When the motor's off on the stand, it's best to get your valves adjusted. Because trust me, once you get it in the car, you're not going to want to climb under there and adjust the valves. There's a number of ways that people do it. You know, I still go on the internet and I just check out whichever the best one is so I could remember, to refresh my memory. And, you know, sometimes having the right tool helps. This is the Schley valve adjusting tool. But sometimes just an old-fashioned screwdriver and 13mm wrench and a crescent to turn your degree pulley is nice. But just make sure you get it done before you get the motor in the car. Okay, the PUMA is in the garage. It's going to get a facelift, and when it comes out of the garage, it's going to be a completely different vehicle. Got the motor here, ready to roll. It's going to look good. Now we got the bus in place. I'm going to steal the BRMs off of the bus, and they are going to go on the PUMA. Hopefully soon the max wedge is going to go away. It's a little heavy to be pushing around myself. No sense starting it up to drive at 3 feet, you know. All right, next we're going to get into the front trunk and get the spare tire area cleaned up. You know, there's no rust because it's a fiberglass car. Woo-hoo! We got a lot of paint chipping. We're going to do the same thing as we did in the trunk. Is just scrape it up, vacuum it a number of times, and then we're going to paint all of this light gray, or dark gray, I should say. Just like we did in the rear engine compartment. Okay, we're going to end part 3 here. The car's in the garage, the motor's built, and we are going to mate the two together on the next episode. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can keep up to date on part 5 coming soon, part 4 coming soon, whichever it is. Anyways, thanks for watching Phila TV. Ciao.